Hey everyone, this is an overview of the active perks in Deep Rock Galactic. Points spent to unlock perks cannot be reset, and the tooltips describing the perks are sometimes limited. Active perks can be a big part of how you approach any mission. In this guide, I will show gameplay with the actives and go into a little more detail about what each of them do. At the start of the game, you'll be limited to one active perk slot. After leveling a class to 25 and promoting for the first time, you will have access to the second active slot for that class. Unlocking the second perk slot for any other class will require you to level and promote that class as well. Active perks serve as an additional ability during missions and can drastically impact gameplay. After using an active, you'll have to wait for it to recharge before you can use it again. Note that while all active abilities have cooldowns, some also have limited uses. Once these uses or charges have been consumed, you will be unable to use the active for the remainder of the mission. That being said, there is an exception. Proceeding to a new stage in a deep dive will reset any charges and cooldowns for active perks. A few of the active perks have an additional passive effect that persists even if the active is on cooldown or out of charges. Active perks get stronger as their rank increases. For the following discussion, all perks are at max rank. Deep Rock Galactic is subject to constant changes and updates. If there are changes that cause differences between the video and what you see in-game, I will note them in the description below. Starting alphabetically, we have Beastmaster, more commonly known as Steve. This allows you to tame a glyphid grunt, guard, or slasher who will fight for you until it's defeated. You can only tame one Steve at a time, and once tamed, the grunt cannot be replaced until after it has died. While a somewhat unlikely ally, Steve provides many benefits to a dive. Due to his increased resilience and combat prowess, he can tussle with many foes above his weight class, often defeating dozens of opponents before meeting his demise. He will also draw the attention of some of your enemies, providing a distraction during tense moments. It is usually worth the effort to use Beastmaster on a guard or slasher over a common grunt, as they have considerably more staying power in a fight. While he has very high resistance to friendly fire from your team, he is still susceptible to high damage attacks and will occasionally get in the line of fire. Steve is only ever able to fight grounded enemies, and will ignore any flying creatures despite being harassed. The Glyphid has a mind of his own, and will typically follow around his master while not in combat. He will sometimes get stuck in tight passages, so you may have to help him get through by mining away extra dirt between caves. Beastmaster is a very versatile perk, well suited to any mission type and region. Just note that missions with Exploder Infestation or Mactera Plague modifiers can limit the functionality of the perk, as Steve struggles with airborne enemies and gets absolutely obliterated by exploders that he insists on fighting. Berserker allows you to rapidly power attack for a short duration by greatly lowering the power attack cooldown. This temporary buff also slightly boosts melee damage. The buff you receive from activating Berserker is identical to the buff you pick up during the Ebonite Mutation Machine event. The active can be used to cleave away many close-range enemies, but it is also effective when used to quickly mine away an entire mineral vein. If using Berserker in a fight, note that while the cooldown is very rapid, it is not instant, and it may be more effective at times to weave in a standard pickaxe swing between power attacks. The recharge rate of Berserker varies depending on the cooldown of your power attack, which can be modified through pickaxe upgrades in the equipment terminal. This means that it may be worth experimenting with different pickaxe mods to figure out what feels right for you while running the perk. Berserker functions well when combined with other perks that center around melee-focused gameplay, such as Vampire and See You in Hell. Take this perk if you like getting up close and personal with swarms. Dash. A brief burst of speed that makes you temporarily immune to slows. This perk allows you to escape doomed situations by quickly creating sizable distances between you and your pursuers. One of the most common situations that results in getting downed is being completely surrounded. Dash can launch you around or through enemies that have you cornered. It can also be used to evade large, devastating attacks or explosions. This perk serves as a cleanse, removing any slows if you find yourself in goo or webs. Beware that this does not extend to stuns, so it may still be dangerous if hit by slashers or frozen in ice. Dash will also disable some interactions, like firing a weapon while sprinting forward. You will have to return to a normal speed if you want to do certain things while the buff is active. Being on such a short cooldown relative to other perks, Dash may also provide utility in general cave traversal. You can leap much further by jumping while dashing, allowing you to clear large gaps between terrain. It can also be activated while carrying heavy objects, though your speed is still greatly reduced. This perk is useful for getting out of hairy situations, and can be a lifesaver if you find yourself surrounded by enemies. It is also notably powerful on Exploder Infestation and Haunted modifiers, where high damage threats are constantly present. Field Medic. Once per mission, you can instantly revive a fallen teammate. The passive element allows you to revive fallen allies faster than normal, and, when you revive an ally, all nearby enemies are feared. This perk is invaluable during truly hectic situations. The single-use active can serve as a lifeline for missions that reach the brink of defeat. turning the tide of a losing battle or buying time in utter chaos. The passive increase to revive speed means that you can sometimes brute force a revive that would otherwise be too dangerous. The fear ensures that once you have picked someone up, you have a fleeting moment to escape. Some may see this perk as preparing for failure, that it somehow implies mistrust in your fellow dwarves. A stout crew, long in the beard and of sterner stock. I know the truth of it. Unfathomable terrors await the unsuspecting and overconfident alike. Darkness dwells within the belly of the beast. Danger is what lies at the heart of Hoxie's. I cannot begin to imagine the amount of missions it has saved, but I can easily recall the ones where I wished I had it. Heighten Senses. Twice per mission, break free from any enemy that captures you, killing the enemy in the process. The passive aspect gives you an audio and visual alert for when you are about to get grabbed. If you get caught by an enemy that grabs, typically any damage will free you from the grab. This is either damage from your teammates in multiplayer or Bosco in single player. This perk allows you to escape on your own if the situation is too tense for someone else to get you free, or if you've been carried far away from your allies. While there are only a few enemies that have the ability to grab, being captured by any one of them can be extremely dangerous. If not stopped by teammates, cave leeches can down a dwarf from full health in moments. Trawlers can easily separate you from the rest of the team, and Mactera grabbers can threaten to release you from great heights. It is possible to prevent yourself from getting grabbed by enemies by damaging them before they would hit you, but this perk can be seen as insurance for situations where you weren't able to fight them off in time. Note that when you are released by using Heightened Senses, you will have the same momentum you had while grabbed. This means that you should be careful about using it while being carried upwards, as the resulting fall may be devastating. This perk can be very helpful on Mactera Plague or Cave Leech Cluster modifiers, as there is an increased volume of enemies with the ability to grab. It is also useful while learning the game, giving you an extra chance if you make a mistake, and aiding you in recognizing these enemies' telltale signs. Hover Boots. Hover for a short duration, burning enemies directly below you. This ability will reset your falling momentum and can be cancelled before completion. If you were to take an unexpected fall, this perk can come in handy to save you from damage that may otherwise kill you. Scouts can use this perk to grapple to nodes and easily mine without the need of a platform. You must be relatively close to enemies to burn them with the hover. This perk is useful while learning the game, to help recognize pitfalls while mitigating damage from accidental missteps. Potentially useful on dives in fungus bogs and sandblasted corridors, as those two regions have environmental hazards that can cause unexpected falls. Iron Will. Once per mission, revive yourself after being downed, temporarily entering a frenzied state with invulnerability. When you activate Iron Will, your weapons will be instantly reloaded, and you will receive a number of buffs until the effect ends. These include increased melee damage and faster power attack cooldown. You also move slightly faster and are less impacted by slows. Unlike being revived by a player or a Bosco, this perk will not heal you when you are back on your feet. This means that if you reach the end of the buff without healing, you will go back down again. Thankfully, while Iron Will is active, you will be immune to damage, allowing you to heal and ensure that you stay up after the effect ends. Just be sure to be out of harm's way by then. This perk benefits greatly when used with the passive perk Vampire, as Vampire gives you an additional source of healing. This increases your chances of survival after the Iron Will effect ends, as you will not always get down near a resupply or red sugar. Often, there will be a nearby enemy to kill with a power attack, healing you for a very small amount, but just enough to continue the fight. Iron Will is best used in situations where things are too frantic for someone to revive you, and your presence in the fight is desperately needed. Alternatively, it can be used as a safety net for when all players get downed. Instead of a mission immediately failing, it will give the player with Iron Will a final few seconds to activate the perk and charge back into battle. While in the Iron Will state, the priority is almost always to heal yourself or pick up fallen teammates. Just remember that you will only have a handful of seconds before the perk ends, so choose your actions quickly. See you in Hell. 3 times per mission, you may release a powerful detonation around your character after getting downed. The passive effect gives you bonus melee damage for a short time after getting hit by a melee attack. This passive element only affects the standard pickaxe swing. It does not increase the damage from power attack or other melee sources. That being said, it nearly triples the damage of your basic melee attack, allowing you to cleave through enemies with much fewer blows. The active ability will do substantial damage to enemies where you are downed, and is not impacted by resistances. The range on the detonation is deceptively short, so be sure that you have a number of enemies on you when you activate it. Like Berserker, this is another perk that works well with melee-focused gameplay. You can also run it with the idea of intentionally getting down to use the active, though this may come with its own set of risks. Shield Link. Refill and overcharge a teammate's shield for a medium duration. The passive element grants increased shield recharge rate to nearby allies. The active shield boost from Shield Link adds a fixed amount rather than multiplying the base shield amount. This boost will completely refill an allied's shield when used, regardless of how much shield they had moments before. Using Shield Link on a player multiple times will refresh the shield and reset the duration of the buff, but will not increase the size of the shield past the first use. Similarly, the passive recharge rate cannot be increased further with multiple players running Shield Link. The range for activation on another player is very close, and it can be easy to accidentally activate Shield Link when meaning to interact with something else. This perk can be handy on missions where you'll spend a good chunk of time near other players, such as the end of salvage missions and missions with the low oxygen modifier. Shield Link has no application in missions with the shield disruption modifier, as both active and passive aspects are virtually disabled. This wraps up things for the active perks. If there are a couple actives that you would recommend to anyone, let me know in the comments. I'd like to see what people have to say about their favorites. This video is continuing my guide on perks in Deep Rock Galactic. The follow-up to this will be the last video for the perk series. It's going to be a more informal discussion of where I categorize all the perks, and I'll give my opinions on how they compare with each other. Thanks for watching.